ruin my entire episode. So let's get going then.
Cool.
So joined today by Zac McHardy.
How you going?
So Zac, give us a bit of a rundown as to who you are and where you're from.
9 years, going on to 10 years in the real estate industry now. Pretty successful, good couple of years to start off with. We started off basically as the GFC had hit, which is obviously a very interesting time to open up an office. But from that, we built a pretty good brand with me and my father. From that, we now have, what are we at? Probably 13 staff. We've really only started employing and building in the last couple of years. You know, as time got on, I changed my love for having to make sure that I was just doing real estate, and I do a lot of traveling now. Most years I was taking 3 to 4 months off, obviously not in one big hit, but you know, here and there I was taking maybe a month off and then doing a week here and traveling a fair bit. And that's, I guess, what my real love is at the moment, is really having that balance in life. I think you've had Danny the other week, or we're talking to Danny Hayes, is exactly the same. You know, wants to experience things in life, and real estate's a great, you know, way to be able to do that.
So let's talk about that. So how do you run? Because I mean, a lot of people would probably sort of look at that and say, "Oh, it's just not realistic to expect to take 3 months off as a real estate agent." How do you manage your clients and your stock levels and things like that while you're not around?
So if you're going to try and be $1 million agent, it's not realistic at all. Yeah, I don't have like a PA that was selling. I only had admin PAs. So the admin side of it was still being kept up to date. People were still getting updates of the market and getting phone calls, and then by the time I was coming back, then they were booking in appointments for me to list. But during that period, there was no money really coming in. Right. Again, as I mentioned, we are a family business. I was able to put all the listings over to Kim's name. Yep. So if anything was selling, we'd still get, you know, we'd share the commissions and some of that. But realistically, I haven't been doing it right. But when I get home, work my ass off. Yeah. And that's I guess where people just don't understand how I can do it and how I've done it in the past, is that as soon as I get back, I'll be happy to work until midnight in the office and do those stupid long hours, which you wouldn't need to do if you weren't taking that time off. Yeah. Talking about balance, if I want that balance, I've got to put the hard yards into it.
So do you consider yourself, like people talk about second generation agent? Was your dad doing this long before you came into the business? I
think Dad's been doing it for 14 years or something like that. So he'd had a fair few years on top when he was doing it. He was in Telstra beforehand. I think he was 30 years or something like that with Telstra. Yeah. That was probably his first job. He was a technician. I remember, you know, all that kind of stuff, and we moved around because of that. But you know, hasn't been like a 30-year veteran or a 40-year veteran, and we didn't have our grandpa wasn't in real estate or anything like that. So the reason why Dad got into it was when we moved here. The reason why we're into it is that when he moved here, he just had the worst customer service. And it was back before the internet was a big thing, like realestate.com and all that stuff wasn't going. So you had to get in the car or had to meet the agents, and we just had the worst experience. Yeah. And he's like, people have got to be able to give better customer service to that, and started getting his real estate license from there.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say there's probably few people, and this is not to downplay anyone else, but there's few people that I think care about their customers quite as much as your dad does. So working in a father-son type office, what things do you look at that your dad's done that you go, that's awesome, and what things do you look at going, come on Dad, pick your game up?
So whenever I started, we were going up to, like, the phones were ringing, and they were like, Kim, I want you to list the property. Kim, I want you to list the property. In the first couple of weeks, there was something like 7 listings come through, and then there was 16 offers on every single property coming. It was just crazy, and I'm thinking, why didn't I get into real estate earlier? It was an interesting time where you didn't have to follow up anything. You didn't have to have much of a marketing plan in place. There was no social media. There was all this kind of stuff that's now been introduced. So you'd see him working really hard and working with the guys and doing the negotiations. He was really good at that kind of stuff, making all of those multiple offers to go even higher and whatnot. And he still does that very well. The only thing that I kind of go, come on, and it frustrates me, is the social media side of it. Yeah. I think he just got Facebook like a year and a half ago.
So speaking of Facebook, obviously you are heavily instrumental in the real estate community.
Yes, yep.
So you and Edgar set that up together?
Edgar Nello from the Gold Coast and myself, yeah. Yep. So there was another gentleman involved. He doesn't do much anymore, but yeah, it was the three of us to start off with. The two of us basically run it now. The main reason why we set that up is we'd speak at a lot of conferences, or we just get a lot of people asking for a lot of help. it's gone to, I think we opened up in the first couple of weeks, and there was about 1,000 members. It's been going for about 5 years now, and we're starting to get a bit more international. We've got a lot of American guys joining us. We're up to just over 8,000 people now.
Yeah, right. Huge.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't comment, a lot of people that do. A little bit of drama sometimes, and hey, it's the internet. It's always
Friday nights are always the best.
Yeah, it's always fun to do it. But that's been a really good kind of communication tool with a lot of people. We've known a lot of people that we don't know ourselves, but they have just put up saying, we've got a referral. Who's the right person to go to? And people have actually got 6 or 7 sales from it over the past couple of years.
Do you have particular goals that you're chasing this year? Like, is there, from a real estate perspective, a GCI, a commission figure that you want to achieve?
Yeah, I always, for me, over the past years, I've always gone, I want to write this kind of money, and got involved with it, and it got to my head, and then I never achieved it, and then went, this is all stupid. It was more then that I changed my mind to make enough money to be able to do the things I want.
Yeah.
To be able to. To be able to like travel, do not have to work every single day, that kind of stuff. So really this year it is about getting myself back on track. So financially wise, so there is a number in my mind. I want to do 70 sales. So it works out to be about 700-ish, give or take. It just kind of depends on what properties. We have a lot of properties that we have that are 260s and 270s, and then we've got, our average is generally around that 550. So com-wise, probably 10,000 each one. So that's why I said, 700,000, 70 sales. Should be achievable. Haven't done it before for a while. Yeah, there we go. Yep, haven't done it. So it's good to go for something pretty hard.
Yep.
And that will put me in a really good financial spot at the end of the day.
So what are you doing in terms of training, mentorship, and so on, to help you achieve that number? Like what processes are you putting in place?
So this year, again, this is one of the other things that I kind of got probably too involved in, is I just go to everything that would come up. Yeah, there was a lot of times that people would just send us free tickets for stuff, and I'd go along to it just because they were nice enough to give us the free tickets and stuff like that. This year I'm sticking with one trainer. We're using Josh Fegan.
Yep.
And that's mainly because he has a lot of systems online, as well as having the good training events.
Okay.
So he has a fantastic program that tracks everything. So you can put your phone calls in. Each phone call you make, any connection you make, and any appointment you make, and that tracks through your KPIs. Today I hit my target for my month for listings, the amount of listings I wanted for this month, which has been fantastic. So it gives you these cool graphics and bars and everything like that as well.
Yeah.
And your appraisals, and then it gives you your sales, and it tells you how much commission you're making. So all those numbers that I'm trying to track, it works out for me. It works backwards. So want 700,000. Okay, cool. I'm only selling this amount of properties. So this is how many listings I need, and this is how many appraisals I've got to do. So works out pretty good. It's good information, and he's got a lot of online training there as well. So if I'm unmotivated, then I just basically go to that, and all of a sudden I've got a bit of motivation and scripts and dialogues, and there's everything you need with it. It's just fantastic. One of the best programs I've ever seen.
Yeah, awesome. And so wrapping up, who are some of the people, not just in real estate but in general, that you sort of admire, follow, look up to?
Well, I guess for now at the moment, I'm moving into more of the social media style stuff, and I love doing videos. Like, I really love doing a lot of videography stuff at the moment. So people that I look up to is a guy called Casey Neistat. Now, anyone that's watched any video on YouTube, more than likely has seen some type of Casey Neistat video. It's not just because he does cool stuff and everything like that, but he's built his life on doing the way he wants to do it. He hasn't let people go, hey, this is the way, you have to do it. He's going, no, this is the way I want to do it. So Casey Neistat. Grant Cardone is a new guy. He's a very much business-focused kind of person. And he is all about the hustle and everything like that. Eric Thomas. I think most people know who Eric Thomas is, and I can actually call him a good friend of mine. I spent a lot of time with him, and he's helped me through a lot of hard times, just with emotional stuff, private stuff, and also just being lazy at the end of the day too. The other guy, you had him on the other week, Danny Hayes. Like, he's just an absolute gun. I was lucky enough that I spent time with him in Kokoda. We walked Kokoda track together. And then people like my dad, I know that's probably a bit corny to say and whatnot, but I guess he's done a lot in his life in the sense that he's built his own business. He's built a successful business with us. He takes care of his family like a good dad should. And I guess, having someone like that in my life is, really nice to have.
Well, mate, we're at the park now, so let's go fly some drones, eh?